live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to tonight's episode of the Wednesday Night Crypto Chat. I'm here, joined by my co-host, Hackerman Ace. Ace, how you doing, bro?
Yo, man. What's up, Bagsy? How are you? We
Really
got Nick here tonight. How you doing, man?
I'm
Good.
excited.
How are you guys?
Good.
Really good, man. Last time we spoke, I think, was on Euclid's stream.
Is it that long ago?
Huh?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It's been like 4 or 5 months, man. What you been up
CTMZ.
to? What you been building in the background?
I
know you're always busy, bro.
Yeah, really loving like trade automation, how it goes, that whole world. I feel like that's the next step. Automated trading's got its limit, or I'm sorry, manual trading has its limits. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing exciting for months on end. Been just staring at screens, getting no sun, and also playing a lot of Call of Duty. That's it.
Nice. Yeah, you and I have a competition coming up, right?
Yeah. Next weekend. Yep.
Okay, how many people are registered?
I think we're over 40 when I checked yesterday, and so we got to fill in the brackets. It'll be, if you play, it'll be a team deathmatch, random at first, and then we do like a whole system down to declare a final winner, like gunfight, and then gun game actually before that, and then gunfight, and 1v1, and then have like a bonus. We're gonna have a bonus. We'll announce once we get the prize for that, but it'll be like a hide and seek. So everybody that lost will have a chance to get a bonus with a hide and seek, knives only. The glitching's okay, all that type of stuff. So yeah.
Okay, dude, I have to tell you one thing about Michael, and you have to be careful. Okay, last time I played Fortnite with this kid, dude, we were on the same team. This guy shot me in the back at the last minute. He killed me and took all my shit. So, you can tell him I said this. Watch yourself if you're on the same team. Jokes aside,
Yeah, I don't think there's friendly shooting on that.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, because we're doing this.
His skill level, that's another thing though. Like him shooting you in the back, I can see that because he has problems shooting the enemies.
He got confused.
He was like, "No, wrong guy."
Yeah, I know he's listening right now, fuming too.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that was actually in Vegas. They had done this like TwitchCon competition or some shit, so it was really fun. But dude, I actually want to ask you a bit more about automation and all that, because I noticed that, you know, as time goes on, a lot more players are just going straight into algorithms and all that. And I agree with what you're saying, that this, you know, manual trading might one day have its, you know, not end but limit.
I just
how
think
long do you think that's going to take?
Personally, it has its limits. Like, so if you don't have a coding background, I don't at all. You're not just going to all of a sudden whip up like some kind of algo or strategy or even indicator or anything like that. You're going to have to, once I guess you understand markets and everything, that can all kind of come together. Point is, like, you have to learn to crawl before you walk, and so you learn manual trading. And I think after a point, like, I feel my analysis now is so complex that I can make errors, and I'd rather automate it to where it takes out the human error.
And how long do you think it's going to take for the majority of players? How long do you think it'll take for algorithms to really be the predominant, you know, how should I say it?
Driver of volume?
Yeah, driver volume. Thank you. Is it already here?
Oh yeah, I'd say 2016 at least. I mean,
Okay.
that's just a wild guess too, but in other words, they've always really been here, and the driving force, especially now, sure.
What do you think the obstacles are compared to, like, for example, I remember in the beginning you were saying something like that. What do you think the difference is between like regular people trading and using algos? What would be the biggest, like?
So let's say you have a very simple crossover. You're a new trader. You form a manual strategy. You just like a simple, you know, SMA crossover strategy. It works really well for you. So you learn how to set stop losses, take profits off of that. You learn what the trigger point is to cross over, all that type of stuff. You can sit there in front of your computer and make that trade all day, right? Or you can take something simple like that. If it's profitable, then why not automate it? Actually, I'm sorry, I got off topic there. What was the exact question?
I guess no big deal, dude. It's not a big deal if you get off topic. We have all the time in the
What's
world.
my Mountain Dew at, man?
No, just like, what are the biggest obstacles like people are going to be facing? I guess, like you're saying, it's better to go algo routes. I guess.
Yeah, the advantages, right? That's what you asked. Okay.
Yeah, that's
yeah. So there's one advantage, right? Instead of sitting there all day using a simple, I wouldn't recommend doing that strategy. I don't think there's any kind of advantage to any kind of algorithm that's running off of moving averages. I think they're reacting to the market, and I think they can be profitable, but I don't think they're an advantageous algo in the market. They're simply reacting off of everybody's movement on that. Yeah.
Is that because of like alpha decay from how they first started programming them? I think
I think nowadays, there's a lot of moving average algos out there, right? Or strategies, I should say.
Right.
And if everybody's running the same strategy, there's really no edge. On top of that, a moving average is a lagging indicator, right? It's not at all predictive. If you have a crossover on a moving average at any given time, like that means the price has already moved in the direction that you're looking to take the trade, no matter what. It's be a very rare circumstance and really volatile circumstance where you don't. But that being said, every time the market moves, you get that crossover and you're reacting and taking the trade, you're late. I just think there's absolutely zero advantage. It can be a profitable strategy, but I just don't think there's an advantage there. And I think over time, I think you would have a major decay in retaining that profitability as more and more competitive algorithms come online.
Obviously, won't ask you too many details on how you do yours, but in my head, I would say that perhaps volume is a better metric to go by.
Volume for sure. So I have an indicator that I sell. People need to understand indicator and strategy, two different things. Like I only make indicators for doing analysis, but we created a volume indicator, alpha volume, and I think the tweet is pinned, or one of the tweets is pinned on my profile right now. But it really telegraphs volume that matters in real time, and we took that and added a few other things to that and created a pretty good strategy on there. We're still tweaking it, still kind of getting everything onboarded and stuff. But yeah, volume is my love for sure. Feel volume can predict a lot of things, not everything, but can predict a lot.
Interesting. So we have like a whole bunch of people on Periscope, Twitch, whatever. If you guys have any questions for us, for Nick, feel free to drop it in chat and I'll make sure to ask it. Nick's very, very knowledgeable, and I'm sure you can
be clear on this algo stuff. I'm still learning myself also. I'm just kind of at that point personally where I'm by no means expert on the algo stuff.
Well, thank you for your honesty, dude. So yeah, your algo has been running on, do you run it on Bitcoin, on altcoins? What kind of liquidity do you look for?
So we're still putting everything on board right now, but Bitcoin, and then some of the alt indexes will be on, some will be live trading those. And so definitely altcoins too. There's some really, really good relationships so FTX, shield time, right? FTX has the shitcoin index, the alt index, and the mid index. It's really good. No other exchange has like baskets of altcoins. They also have the Dragon index, which is all like Chinese cryptocurrencies. Anyway, watching those and the indexes they've created, you can actually see a lot of common, occurrences and a lot of like diverging points to where like the market shifts at a certain, like apex, I guess you could say. So trading altcoins is definitely, I think, imperative to a strategy with Bitcoins. It provides a lot of opportunity for somebody who's mainly sitting in Bitcoins.
Yeah, FTX has been pretty cool so far. I like the people behind it. They have really good tools. Maybe a bit too many, honestly, but that's just me. So I find there's maybe too many instruments and not enough liquidity, but no, beggars can't be choosers, right?
Yep. Hey, Bagsy, did you tweet out that we're live?
Yeah, well, it automatically sends out like a Periscope link, but I can do that right now too.
I'm looking for the Twitch one.
Live now. All right, twitch.tv. Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Ace, do you still use Ichimoku a lot?
Yeah, man. It's really dependent. Like I mean, it depends on my situation of what exactly I'm doing. But yeah, man, I still really like using it just as far as like high time frames go. Low time frames, I've kind of switched things up a little bit, but definitely do still love peeking at it.
Yeah, same.
Have you added any like I know you use it like whatever 20 SMA, Ichimoku. Have you been studying any more tools or adding anything to your technique over the last month?
So nothing with Ichimoku, nothing with moving averages at all. Ichimoku is interesting and really fun and great for visualizing. I don't think it's meant or ever intended for like an automated system, Ichimoku.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, for one, it wasn't intended, right? That's fine, but you can develop it into, I think there's better ways to develop like a automated system. I think the Ichimoku is more for like a manual trader, I guess, somebody who wants to visualize it. And I still look at it every day. It's a really good guide, especially like you throw it up on, I look at Bitstamp on the weekly all the time. Throw that up right there. It's been a great guide.
Yeah, I think if I was gonna do anything automated with Ichi, I wouldn't do it with that. I would more so make it sort of a signal bot type thing rather than a automated trading type thing.
Yeah.
So if you guys were to like pop up Ichimoku on the weekly for Bitcoin, what would that tell you right now?
Not good.
Hades.
Yeah, it's looking horrible, but
Can you pull that up, Ace?
Yeah, give me just a
Thanks, bro.
I got it right here if you guys want.
Oh, you do? Nice.
Yeah, that's perfect. We rarely have guests that are ready and to share their screens with things like that.
I mean, I do a little TA, so.
Just a bit.
Oh wow, it's on default. No.
Crypto settings.
I wouldn't call them crypto settings. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So like at Forex, right? You get some really volatile assets. Ichimoku will give you a lot of false signals, and it's the same with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a very volatile asset, and so you double up these settings, as people call them, or they're more like just even settings for a more volatile asset. So that's all it is. I think it just smooths out the signals. I wouldn't necessarily call them crypto settings because you see similar settings with other volatile assets prior, before crypto was around, I guess.
Did you discover that yourself? Did someone introduce it to you over time?
No, I definitely did not discover it myself. I mean, I used these settings before, I'm sure, crypto. I can't remember like a specific instance, but I'm sure. I definitely didn't learn it from crypto or see it in crypto. I used Ichimoku a lot more with Bitcoin than anything, not gonna lie, but yeah, these settings you'll see outside of cryptocurrencies. They're just yeah, or any kind of volatile asset. I guess you could technically, a penny stock, anything volatile, it just smooths it out is all.
And is that a VPVS, like a modified volume profile?
Yeah, that was for this specific range right here.
That's very sexy.
Yeah, I was looking at volume earlier. I tweeted about this. Just overall, so like this dip is actually not as bad on all the exchanges. So this is the alpha volume indicator right here. And these spikes are significant spikes when they're teal like that. And that dip was bought up pretty hard, pretty decently on all the exchanges. So here's Bitstamp, here's Bitfinex, same spike up there. Like it was a good amount. So ideally now, and then I'll get back to the weekly Ichimoku.
Now, does it tell you if if they're being dissipated out or if they're being sold out afterwards or anything?
So alpha volume is going to measure significant spikes in volume, so huge market orders. It's also based on time. So it has a baseline of volume on the exchange of what it considers normal. And then as volume increases, so let's say, a whale comes in that can potentially throw off the supply demand or equilibrium, I guess, it'll spike it up showing that. And if you don't have any kind of movement on price, that's when it's really useful, is when price doesn't move at all and we have a huge liquidity sweep in one direction. Typically the price will follow like that. I don't see really good examples on like some invisible liquidity sweeps yet right here. But what it is showing that across all exchanges, that dip did get bought up pretty hard. Now I want to see the OBV spike up. We don't necessarily need to have alpha volume spike up. OBV is more cumulative. So if this is a real bottom, I want to see the cumulative volume pick up overall, which this is just measuring real time.
Interesting. And is OBV one of your favorite volume tools to utilize?
Yeah, for cumulative, for sure. Like just to measure overall where it's going and where it's been. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't play much with OBV, but maybe I should.
Very, very clear divs on there sometimes. It's really nice.
Yeah, that's like one of the main reasons why I use it. But I find that, do you find divergences are more useful when looking at volume indicators rather than, let's say, a momentum one or an oscillator?
For sure, because volume precedes price, right? And an oscillator is reacting to price. So if there is a divergence showing with volume and the price, obviously the price has not moved because there's a divergence. Volume is higher than the price has moved and it needs to move in that direction. So you can time a trade much easier and be much more profitable by looking at volume than an oscillator.
Thank you. That was very useful. I'm going to clip that later, put it up.
Yeah.
Feda wants to know, will waves hit $100? I do not know, sir. What's the market cap of waves right now? Like 100 million at least? Nice tips. Thanks. You're welcome, Two Brain. But yeah, I'll repeat this again. If you guys have any questions, just type out in chat. It's going to be your one opportunity to get Nick. He's a busy boy.
So how would you read the let me fix this. How would you read the conversion line over the baseline, but with price below both? What's your let me turn this.
The guy asking about waves, bro. We've been in a falling wedge since 2017. I don't know what you're talking about. It's going to like $1,000.
$1 million. But yeah, the one thing about waves is that they're DEX. And they actually make money, I think, and they have a huge war chest, so that's a nice thing about it. It doesn't really mean much, but at least they have money, you know what I mean? Who's stacked right now in terms of money? Like Tezos, who else is just ready for war?
Tron. The SEC.
Bro, the SEC's been raking it in, man. But yeah, Nick, what was your question?
So we've got conversion line, baseline under that, and then price under baseline. How would you interpret that overall? We had the TK cross right around there. So towards the end of the trend, fifth wave, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. That's all ace and
that's on the weekly. So I definitely would want to zoom in. I mean, right now, if I was forced to just pick off just this structure alone, I mean, we're still inside the cloud structure, so that's good. I mean, maybe we can get a bounce around like 62 one more time before we go back up, but I mean, the other time frames really don't look too good, but I mean, I could pull out some hopium at the weekly. Let me switch it on to my end on mine.
So yeah, the way I take it, I think the Ichimoku is doing exactly as it should right here. Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting. So we had a big bear market. I'm going to look back further with the Ichimoku. We had a nice long bear market, right? We came out of the bear market. As great as the Ichimoku is, it's always going to be behind. That's one thing people need to understand. You can see we had the TK cross here on the weekly, clear the hell up on its last leg. But if you're reading the Ichimoku right and that TK cross, all that's signifying is we've entered into a bull market outside of this correction. Because if we go back and look at the Ichimoku, bull market, cloud positioning, baseline, conversion line above that with price above that. And then we enter into a bear, and now we've entered back into a bull. So yeah, I think the fact that we're in the cloud is still great. This little spike down is interesting. It's like this sell-off right here on the weekly followed that, and now it's going to generally follow this upwards as a guide. But I think the fact that the conversion line is still above the baseline almost acts as like a C-clamp, not really, but I think we'll get a nice little suction back up overall. Just a matter of when. I just don't see much further downside at all, even just looking only at the Ichimoku.
Interesting. And like, again, my knowledge is very limited on Ichimoku. if we were to zoom out a bit and look towards the right, how much of an impact does the cloud opening up do for you, or for just in general?
Price isn't outside the clouds right now, so that's not really bad looking in a sense.
So let's just take a look at this last bear market, right?
Mm-hmm.
Came into this cloud. Let's just pretend to look at fractals, even though it's not a fractal. I hate people. So we rallied up into the cloud, came back into it, and then we just kind of chopped in the cloud. Had a quick little sell-off, and then rallied up, and the bull officially kicked off. Pretty much kind of what's going on right here. As far as widening goes, I mean, I'm not really sure how to interpret that, or if that widening at all should be interpreted, period, over there on the right. I think, once we enter into the bull, we get so far outside of it, as long as we have bullish positioning on the weekly, which is, Kumo twist at some point with our conversion line, which is that pink line right there above the Kumo and, baseline, and then conversion line, the orange line above that, with price generally following it. I think we're good. Ichimoku works really well for visualizing bulls and bears, especially on like a huge scale. And then even like further, you could take it, study this last bull market. Every time we dipped in to this conversion line and baseline, that was usually the end of a cycle. And we want to see like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whether you believe in Elliott waves or not. There's cycles there. You can see it. And conversion line and baseline, we're pretty decent on that.
Right. So now, so as a newbie, let's say looking at the weekly Ichimoku, is it okay, let's say I'm looking to build a long-term position, spot buying, whatever, and I'm looking for the best part of the Ichimoku tool to utilize as like a support or as an entry trigger. Would it be the bottom of the cloud in this instance? Would it be wait for it to climb over the conversion line, or I forget how you called it?
For like an entry?
Yeah. Like in this particular scenario, obviously none of this is financial advice. We're not, I don't know, maybe you are. If
the way I would do it, the way I would play it, and you could probably ask 20 different people.
Yeah.
And they're all going to have similar, but maybe even completely different answers. But so if you're basing your entire knowledge and trading off of Ichimoku on the weekly only, let's say that's it. That's all we know. We're an investor. We put 6 figures in or whatever. So like your average American accredited investor, I guess.
Yeah.
Technically, you would wait until this price is above this conversion line and closed above it, and even outside of the cloud. So you're well off. Like, you're going to miss so much profit, but the correct way to do that, to confirm it, would be until the price is closed above the conversion line and baseline, and they're in a bullish positioning above the cloud. I wouldn't so much worry about a Kumo twist on there, but at least above that. And we're pretty far off from that. Reason being is, at that point, you're confirmed a full trend, technically, with Ichimoku's. Down here, you still have some uncertainty. Yes, the cloud is holding, but we're below the baseline there and conversion line. That's bad.
Scary.
So technically, yeah, you would wait quite a while here for entry.
Okay. And if, let's say, a person had the balls to put let's say a 6-figure amount, and he or she didn't mind waiting, let's say 6 months, would they buy, let's say, at the bottom of the cloud? Would they wait for it to like break through the cloud and break back inside? If my questions are stupid, just let me know. But
say that again one more time.
So let's say I have 100 grand and I don't mind buying the blood, and I don't mind waiting for price to get back above the conversion line. Would I want to wait for price to test the bottom of the cloud, or to break through the cloud and buy once it breaks back in? Like, would that work at all, or is the bottom of the cloud kind of like a useless
no
metric?
So the cloud in certain situations, like I'll use for like a stop loss, or I used to, and you could.
Oh, okay.
But so picture the Kumo right there, the cloud. Almost, I used to picture it like an ATR, right? You could set your stop loss based on an indicator called the ATR. For those of you guys that don't know what that is, go into your indicators, and right here, average true range. And basically it gives you the range. So we're at like 1357. So like, let's say for some dumb reason you took an entry here, you could place your stop loss, double that 1357. So let's just say $2,700. So this is a bad example on the weekly on how to use an ATR as a stop loss. Let's go to the hourly real quick.
Great.
Let's do this. Here we go. Yeah, you wouldn't do it there. So 88. So let's go 176. So you would be placing a let's just say you're a horrible trader and you took that entry right there. Sorry guys for the ones that just took an entry there. So then your stop loss would be, somewhere around there if you were to do that strategy. But, obviously you want to have a good entry, and, sometimes you have invalidation points that are more clear, like a swing low or something. But if you don't, like an ATR is good. Or, the bottom of the Ichimoku kind of acts as the same thing, I guess.
Trader levels on Periscope. Talk about the Pearl chart and how it's cured cancer in Singapore.
Hey, is that Bentoshi talking?
Okay, interesting. So like for ATR and stuff, do you use that at all to determine the stops for your algos, or is that too personal a question?
I'm making a number. It depends on what the algo is, actually. We have a number of, there's a couple right now that are they only close position when the trend shifts. So they're always in a trade, right? There's no stop logic there.
Okay.
It just has like its invalidation point. But then with certain stop logic, we do have like swing lows or swing highs or we've also been using ATR for not only stop losses, but for verifying entries. For instance, like with volume, on our volume strategies, I'll give away this. At certain points, so you're gonna have constant spikes of volume with like the formula we use to measure volume that are significant. That we need to keep those significant spikes to see them, but we need to understand when they matter on a trade. So if the price hasn't moved at all, but volume is really spiking on one heavy bias, we're going to take the trade in that direction. So how do we check? So we use an ATR. We see if the ATR has deviated a certain percentage from our baseline. And if it hasn't, with volume spiking, then we take the trade. So we use ATR for not only stop loss logic, but it's been really good for things like that. That's one use case we're using it on, and finding some other uses for ATR. We had to change it though. So this ATR right here, this is what comes on TradingView.
Core secret, I love it.
You didn't see any of that.
I saw none, bro.
And then so this is my dev fixed this. This is the ATR we're kind of basing some of our stuff off of.
Okay.
It works a little bit better than that, and we have like a moving average on it, and it's based off of like percentage moves.
Very interesting. Dude, when did you just start messing around with indicators? How many years ago?
Building my own indicators just recently, really. I've always just kind of like taken indicators, and I had to cut like a few like really dumb indicators built like back when people were first getting on TradingView, and I'm talking really dumb. But that was all that was kind of on there. But building my own just recently, really. The Alpha series is like the first indicators I actually built from scratch. Didn't like take an indicator and change it around. Pretty much just improved previous indicators with new designs.
Okay, so what you sell is an indicator and not a I guess an algorithm per se, or is
right? Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to be selling any algorithm stuff.
Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, there's no need to.
Okay.
Giving away, I feel like everything being designed can't really put a price on it. Capital behind it is great, but there's no reason to sell access to it or it when it's a alpha generating machine itself. So, but these are the three indicators right now that you can buy.
Alpha reversal, alpha volume.
Alpha reversal, alpha volume, and alpha exhaustion. So alpha exhaustion on the bottom is an improved, I guess, TD sequential, you could say. TD sequential is limited to a movement of 9, right? I guess. Tom DeMark, for some reason, believed that markets are going to cycle in a 9. Anyway, there's more to the TD sequential, right? Like people misuse it and like, oh, it's a shit indicator. There was a better way to design it. So took the alpha exhaustion, designed it. It's made to measure the same thing the TD sequential does, which is exhaustion cycles, capital exhaustion, when capital is exhausted. So when we get these half moons here, that means it's almost at exhaustion. But when they disappear, that means just to pay attention. You don't open up a trade yet. So you would be in a long trade based off of this. And then once the moons disappear, you look about 3 candles later and you open up your short and so on and so forth.
Interesting.
The way it's supposed to work, like you could that way. And then you have your risk line, which is like those 3 dots right there. So this position would have been stopped out. These are actually, I don't really use this personally much anymore. There is a lot of traders. I need to see, I don't even have my settings on right now. There's a lot of traders that are new that really like this. I'm just not finding much use in measuring capital exhaustion anymore. I'm finding like better ways to measure markets, but you can see here, like, so if you were to trade off of this, you were to take the entry there. This is as close as I get to like a signal service is this indicator, which is more for doing analysis. You have your stop loss there. And then right here, that little stop sign right there told you to close it, which was pretty close to the top, a couple candles later. So from there to there. So that's basically how you would use it. And then it also senses like weakness. So if you entered into a long based on capital exhaustion, it'll say, oh, it's, you know, sensing some further downside here. And so it told you exit out early, and there was further downside. So there was that. So that takes the approach that there's more than just 9 cycles in a market cycle.
Who's the greatest TD sequential trader you know of?
So actual TD sequential?
Sure.
Tone Vase.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people give Tone shit.
He like TD sequential. He is the best teacher, the best trader of it. Now, whether it's the most dominant system, that's up for debate. And I definitely say no. Definitely not. At least, you know, like alpha exhaustion, you could build a strategy around. You honestly could. Anyway, moving on. Alpha reversal let me touch on that again, actually. So the TD sequential is not a trading system in my eyes. It's a way to measure capital exhaustion. People take analysis tools and make a whole system off of it. And there's so much more to that than markets. Picture you open up a puzzle. I say this all the time, and you spread all the puzzle pieces out. You're not going to pick up one puzzle piece and know what the hell the entire picture is, right? You're going to have to slowly put those puzzle pieces together to know what the picture is without cheating, if you're looking at the box, right? I look at TA the same way. Volume is a puzzle piece. Capital exhaustion is a puzzle piece. You have your oscillators, which measure different, pieces of strength and momentum. And those are all puzzle pieces. I think all that fits to get a clear picture of technical analysis. And so, yeah, as far as like the best TI trader, TD trader, I guess it would be Tone, but I don't think it's a system to be trading around. I think there's other factors.
Thank you. That was a really concise answer. So yeah, did you want to go into alpha reversal as well?
I'll just make it quick. It's basically stochastic RSI. We changed the stochastic formula. Stochastic formula needs a little bit of like looser rules, I guess, for Bitcoin. We get into oversold and overbought, and we stay there forever on time frames. We trend hard. And so we kind of changed the formula a little bit on that, then added momentum. We didn't change the formula on the momentum indicator and also RSI. And then we created like a baseline.
You're playing God, Nick.
The baseline, so that's this fixed threshold right here. So it changes automatically based on the time frame you're on. And I'll get what that is. It's basically a moving average of what divergences are showing. Because no matter what, as you move through price, right, there's always going to be a divergence. If I pull up, like, what's your favorite, stochastic, RSI, or momentum? Which one?
Go with momentum.
Momentum, yeah. So I still pull up momentum by itself, independent of my own indicator. Okay, so there's always going to be a divergence in price.
Yeah, right there, there's one.
Yeah, always. Like, it doesn't matter. It could be so minuscule that even us as humans can't see it, but it can be measured with computers, right? Or with, simple math and tools. At what point do divergences matter? So I took those three tools, stochastic, RSI, and momentum, which I find really useful in identifying oversold, overbought territory, also strength. And we combined it into a formula with this baseline to identify when divergences matter. So when you see it heavily blue right here, that means that there's heavy bull divs that matter. And as you see, we came out of that pretty hard. The bigger the divs, usually the more they matter. Let's go to something like 4 hours. Anyway, I'll keep it brief, but yeah, that's the way it works. Looks for significant divergences between those indicators and measures it. If, let's say, you're on a different type of asset than Bitcoin, you can use a fixed threshold and change it automatically. So what that did is it put it at anything significant would be over 2.25. So you could go through and study an asset and then you could change that threshold right there to whatever the asset's normal divergent rate is.
Very, very cool. Man, there are a couple people in the space who have gotten into algorithms, like Gainz. He's been pumping them out.
Gainz is great, yeah.
Yeah, have you tried any of those? Do you know how they work?
No. I don't use any of Gainz's algos, but I see how they work. So he has, I'm checking the chat right here. I have a Discord, Bitcoin Masons, right? And he puts his Gainz bot in there just like he does on Twitter, like it automates and stuff. So I take a look at the trades it's taken, but he's, tell you this, man, he's working hard. He's up like 16, 18 hours a day, it seems, like just working on these algos and having a lot of success with things. And remember, like the real alpha generating algos, you're not going to see free public access to or ROE, and I'd imagine Gainzy's got some real cool shit that not everybody's seeing right now.
I think you're right. You'd never give out your prized jewel.
Yeah. So Gainzy's got some algos that people can use with his ref link if they sign up, right? And they're profitable. But the real money ones are going to be kept to personal capital.
Kept secret.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Not at all, no. What, if you can answer, I don't know, and no numbers, but percentage-wise, how profitable would you say is your best algorithm over time? Not back testing, but forward testing. Is there a way you can answer that without,
So, wait, so you're...
So let's say...
you want me to predict how profitable going forward I can be?
I guess, or just how it has been ever since you turned your best one on or your favorite one.
Oh, in actual live testing, not back testing. Oh, got you.
Are we
yeah,
so
since so I have different levels of aggression on different strategies, right? Because I feel at certain points in the market, this part I haven't automated. I feel at certain points of the market, my strategies can turn up their aggression and take bigger losses because bigger gains are to come. And so like on a moderate strategy, which is what would be required since October 1st, it was outperforming on a 98%. So the buy and hold was -9% when I checked this morning. And it's taken a couple trades since then, but it was at like 99% outperform.
Nice.
So if you were to buy and hold since October 1st, you're down -9%. But with this strategy, which is set at a moderate level, I think it had closed out like nearly 800 trades by this morning. Since then, yeah, that's what it's at.
And is that your own personal, like, it's your best horse, or is that?
No, that's just one strategy. Like the best horse isn't up and running live.
Interesting.
The best horse is
Nick's secret.
No, it's so beyond that. It's nothing we can do in Pine.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah, nothing you can see in TradingView. All the good stuff is outside of TradingView, to be honest. It's limited. Pine is so stupid. And I'm not a coder. I don't code it. Like I have a dev. Don't get me wrong. I just know how markets work and then create, the systems. But yeah, the best horse. I I don't know, man. At that point, you'll probably see a really big change from me on social media. I don't know how to describe, but yeah, when that's actually live up and running, and not just doing like, you know, fake trades, then yeah.
You're going to become a whole other beast.
So like the public ones, the best horses, I guess, are the volume, any of the volume-based indicators that we've got. That's got a really interesting one too on FTX. So FTX has underlying index, right? Let's just say that their index is, if you were to create your own index on TradingView, based off of how they calculate it, you have to do it exactly, and then compare that for any kind of every time that index and the actual price on FTX has parity, there's usually a shift in the market, and I'll just leave it at that. But you'll have to search it. And once you find it, what I'm talking about, just line it up. Look at FTX's price of any asset and look at the underlying index. Make sure you have the index exactly right. And every time there's parity, you're gonna start to identify like really good cycles. So we've kind of automated a system based off that and a few other things. Obviously, you know, there's more to like a strategy like that that have worked really well. It's not even at all like technical based, but it's art based, and I really can't wait to like set those ones full blast and see if those can be like a real good workhorse once those are done.
By what age do you plan on retiring in that case?
I don't know. This is fun.
Like, I'm already retired, man.
This is fun. I don't know, man. I don't really even consider none of this work, I guess.
Yeah. Retirement is a strange idea, you know what I mean? Like if you're a productive individual, there is no such thing as retirement. The brain's always doing something.
I have a long way to go before retirement, that's for sure.
Do you have a number figure that you're aiming for before you're like, okay, I've done what I got to do, time to chill on the beach for a bit? Or is it more just
yes, but I'm also realistic with myself, and I know damn well like hitting that figure would be such a rush. I'm gonna be like, why stop there? You know?
Okay.
And who knows if everybody's got goals, right? Who knows if you're ever gonna really hit your goals or your figure? But yeah, I guess I do, but I also know myself.
How long do you have to hit it?
How long? What do you mean? How long?
Do you have like a time frame? Like by 40?
No.
Okay.
No. Nope, I'm not in a rush. Yeah.
Good stuff, dude. You seem to be enjoying it all, which is, you know, good to see.
Some of it, yeah.
People are depressed as fuck on Twitter. It's like really.
Yeah, this is like really a hard market to trade, honestly. Especially like when we got around here, there was a lot of confused people right here. And it was really hard to stick to like a bias. Like, so I generally was trading this pretty well and publishing it on TradingView. And there was a few times where I wanted to go, you know, off of my own analysis. And I can see why a lot of people like capitulated through this last market, and kind of like we're losing a lot of traders, I think, on Twitter. Would you agree or no?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Yeah. They're either disappearing or becoming assholes. So I know either way something's going wrong in the back.
Well, so everything's wrong, right? But everything's right. This is how we do it with Bitcoin, right? Bottom of markets.
Exactly.
So
fuck. Dude, who was your like one of your favorite people that just threw in the towel or gave up? Is there anyone that comes to mind?
Yeah, when Messiah capitulated, nobody knows about this, but I'm gonna tell it all right now. Yeah, I sold all of his shit into cash. Went into like this full depression. I don't know if you guys remember, he disappeared off Twitter. I got a lot of heat for this. I tweeted that he died in a car crash because he wanted me to.
No.
Yeah, I got the screenshots, man. Like we got into a little like friendly argument over this because he was like, well, Nick lied and said he comes back like a week later, right? He's like, I'm not coming back for 6 months. I just want to disappear. And he knows what I'm talking about. He better not deny it, man. I'm trying to remember. I got blocked by a couple of people that are my friends over this because they found out I had lied, but I only lied because Messiah asked me to.
Yeah.
But he's back. Messiah's back.
He's here. He's well.
This is when he was going through the whole gravity well thing. Like, so he first made gravity well and didn't tell anybody about it. He had like 100 people, like his closest friends.
What was gravity well? If you could fill the audience in.
He just like, that's when he capitulated Messiah and got off crypto Twitter and wanted to die and disappear in a car crash and stuff.
Jesus.
As much as he said he was joking, I took it serious and I tweeted it. and as a friend to him, and I got a lot of heat over it. I think at one time Shardy blocked me over it.
No.
Yeah.
Man.
But I don't know. I can't think of any
Fair enough. You got one. That's good enough for me. Ace, is there anyone that you've seen that you've liked that's just disappeared?
Nah, everybody I've liked is still around. Don't really like people that disappear. Let me think. Yeah, I really can't think of anybody.
So the only dude
that I know I've got some good ones too, man, because we've had some big capitulations.
Yeah, like Crypto Yoda.
Yeah.
Who else? I didn't know Yoda personally. Like that was a bit before my time.
Never knew him.
Yeah, there's some good ones.
I'll tell you this: there's a couple of OGs in the space that are definitely not believers in Bitcoin as much as they front to be. Obviously, I'm not gonna like air it out now, but you know who you are. You're my friends, even, but you know who you are.
So it's kind of like they're in it for the money, and till that gate closes.
No, you know what it is. So everybody got so hyped up during that bull market, like all of a sudden, altcoins go to shit. People are like, even though Bitcoin's in a correction, I'm gonna become a Bitcoin maximalist. So we had a little bit of a shift, right?
Right.
And then it just got like real frustrating, and oh wow, here totally lost my train of thought. What the hell were we just talking about? It's been a long day, guys. I've been up since like 5 a.m. working, so
yeah, dude, first of all appreciate your time, man. We're talking about capitulation, right?
Yeah.
And then
it's coming back to me. Oh yeah, OGs
exactly. OGs who are in it for...
so all these guys like thought everyone thinks as OGs they're really just like secretly depressed in the DMs. I see the messages that tell me that Bitcoin's really just a scam, and
really
accounts too. There's one that's really going to blow your mind one day. I'm sure he'll have a full fit and capitulate publicly, but
get the fuck out of here. Really?
Yeah, it's 6-figure followers for sure.
Oh shit. Does it go woof?
Yeah, no. No, it's definitely not. No, definitely not.
Oh man, let me check chat quick.
I can't believe I totally lost my train of thought there. What it is I haven't had any caffeine for a few hours.
Oh yeah, that's hard, man. Someone asked a question about what the fuck? It was about ATR. I can't find the question anymore though. Hold up.
Let me look.
Yeah, call the flow. Algos are too good. They kill too many manual traders. You'll all be trading against each other soon.
Well, that's my point exactly. Like, why have an algo that's based off like a moving average? They're all just going to be trading against each other with no competitiveness whatsoever.
Yeah, dude. Where do you think the space is going in terms of like overall, I guess, world adoption? Let's say. Do you think it's already peaked and we're kind of going to descend into like...
Not at all.
Okay. So you think there's one more?
Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you think we're going to break 20,000 anytime soon? Next 2 years. I do. I absolutely say in the next year, we're going to break 20,000. Absolutely. Like sooner than that. But like, so if you believe that, what's going to drive like adoption? Price, right? How's the price going to get in the news, in these people's hands to die? The news is going to report, breaks 20,000. I'm sure it'll be something to the effect, the next bubble's here, and then once we rally to like 30,000, 32,000, come back, find support again around 30,000, then the news will jump on board and we see, like major adoption, they start shilling it. And then of course, at their peak shill will be the end of that bull market. So just pay attention for that. The news and stuff. But yeah, I think we're in for a huge adoption race on this next price break.
Okay. So for you, it's pure price.
It's not pure, but I think it's a huge factor.
Yeah, especially for the majority of retail.
So a lot of people have heard about Bitcoin, right? But you're also going to get like some really speculative businesses that are going to be like, oh, I should accept Bitcoin because look at the rate it's going. It's gone from 20,000 to 30,000. Had I had taken $15,000 in sales over the last month in Bitcoin, I'd now have, 25,000 or whatever. You're going to get a few like speculative businesses like that, which that's not the move if you're running a business. It's a little too speculative for that. Bitcoin is, but yeah, I think the news is a big factor in adoption, And I think price is what makes the news talk about it, not innovation, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that there will be a Bitcoin killer, or just not something to kill Bitcoin, but just something better?
Win.
Hmm?
When? Yeah,
no,
that's pretty broad. Like 50 years from now, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. 20 years from now, very likely. I mean, so think of it this way, any kind of technology. So let me say Bitcoin is king right now, but look at any technology in the history of time, it's always replaced. And Bitcoin is kind of, yes, we've had cryptocurrencies before, but never as developed as Bitcoin, right? When I say cryptocurrencies, I don't mean with like a real blockchain like Bitcoin has that's decentralized. I mean, like there's been attempts before, right? In-game money and stuff like that.
Right.
But Bitcoin is the first like successful decentralized cryptocurrency. And so by nature, it's got, something better at some point is going to come along, or, there's always the threat of quantum. I know people are like, oh, Bitcoin's going to be fine from a quantum threat, whatever. I don't understand that. So I'm just going to say it's a possibility. I'm not saying it's probability, but, possibility. Yeah. So at some point, yeah, Bitcoin's got to be replaced, but I don't think it's here. I don't think the replacement's already been made.
In that case, do you, in terms of, let's say, and my knowledge is limited on this as well, but China, certain countries, let's say they're going to be creating their own native cryptocurrencies. Do you think that, let's say, taking China as an example, they would ban Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency once that comes into effect? Or would that kind of be a shooting themselves in the foot situation?
Considering the way, I don't know. It's interesting because it depends on what they're going to actually do with this cryptocurrency they're making. Like what kind of, so are they going to have it, and I'm not a coder. Like, are they going to have into like some special smart contract that doesn't allow that money to leave the country or like any kind of like organization outside? Are they going to have capital controls on it like that? Because that's the whole thing with China, right? And the way their communist system holds together is their capital controls. Like you don't bring money into there, right? It's just, you keep it in there. That's just the way it's designed, and then you create it and more and keep it in there. So that being said, I don't know. Like if they've got that built in, then I think it's advantageous to have like Bitcoin around to where they can't go from that cryptocurrency to Bitcoin, but perhaps maybe people can take their Bitcoin and put it into their economy that way.
Yeah.
You can see that type of manipulation, I think, with countries creating cryptocurrencies. So I'm really curious to see what they're doing, what Russia's doing, and a few other countries. I think like Thailand was in the works.
France.
Yeah, but none of this is good. Don't get me wrong. None of this is good for like real.
For freedom.
For freedom. Take it away, financial imprisonment and things like that. No, this type of stuff that enslaves countries even further.
Yes, absolutely. Like imagine a credit system that, like in China, if you, correct me if I'm wrong, if you commit a crime, if you're a jackass, like you're limited on what you can do, on what you can buy, on how you can human. So whenever you build a native currency that's fully traceable, like it already is with credit cards, debit, all that kind of stuff, but at least there's still cash. But take cash out, like GG, that's that. You're a slave again.
I mean, so take a look at Venezuela's currency. That worked out well, right? You think, I mean, that was a like instant disaster, the petro, but like you think these other countries are not going to abuse their own cryptocurrency?
Dude, it's the amount of shit we're gonna hear in a few years, dude.
Spying on each other, like they're gonna know if you buy, a jewelry bill, they're gonna know it all.
Yeah.
Like there's no such thing as cash. Like by taking a $5 bill and buying, a pack of gum or anything. No, forget about it.
Exactly.
I see someone asked about my sponsor. Monster isn't sponsoring Nick Core anymore. No, they're not. It's actually Mountain Dew. But Mountain Dew is way over there, and I just don't want to reach for it.
So you're with Mountain Dew, or were with Mountain Dew?
So I don't know if you guys ever watched mine and BitLord's old like shows we used to do on my
that's
YouTube
old
channel.
school. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like the last year or so, whatever. And we would play like we had sponsors, and people took us serious for a while, so we just kept it going. Like we were doing real pitches and shit, and like ridiculous stuff. Like he was pitching like Vegeta, or how do you pronounce that? Vegeta? That sounds like a sex cream or something. But, like, ew.
You put it on my Vegeta.
For like herpes, or I don't know, something. Sounds like something like Vegeta. Anyway, it was like some Australian food, and like I would pitch, like I drink a lot of energy drinks, right? So whatever energy drink. And so that's probably what he's
That's
referring
hilarious,
to.
dude.
So I've got Mountain Dew over there. And then one time, so I was at Burlington Coat Factory, and they had this really ridiculous sweater. This is still on Twitter. And it was Santa Claus that was buff, but it was a knitted sweater, right? Like something your grandma would make.
Yeah.
Of Santa Claus holding bags of like dollar bit, like bags, like. And so I tweeted, I had somebody take a bunch of like semi-professional photos of me in it, like I was a model. And then I tweeted out that Gucci was now sponsoring me.
That's fucking.
And this was my Gucci photo shoot that's going to be in the next month's issue of Gentleman's Quarterly, GQ. And I put it on Instagram and Twitter, and like people legit were falling for it. Like, and it was a dead serious tweet. Like, you know, I'm in some like model poses. If you went to the Instagram though and went to like the last photo, you could probably see it was a troll because I was like doing some dumb shit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
dude.
It was so I kept that going, that I was with Gucci for like a whole day. Didn't tell anybody, and then tweeted out. You guys watch The Office?
Yeah.
So you know that scene where Michael Scott goes into Burlington Coat Factory and he's got blood on his coat and he's talking about like, when I walk into Burlington Coat Factory with $50, they treat me like a king. Anyway, that's how I ended up telling them.
Dude, that's fucking funny, man.
But never have I had a real sponsor. So yeah.
I remember at some point BitLord had this. He like did was it for body spray or some shit? Oh yeah. Fuck! Was that real or was it was like Axe spray or one of those?
All of it was fake. So it was real spray, but everything was like fake.
Fake.
Yeah. So you remember? Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
It didn't matter. Whatever like was sitting on our desks, like was usually the fucking.
Was what?
The sponsor? Yeah. We did it on Instagram a couple times too. We were doing like joint Instagram fucking.
So I'm sponsored by Yves Saint Laurent. Here's my cologne. Let's do it.
Yep.
Smell like a champ.
Yeah. I think I have that same cologne right over there.
Dude.
Hold on. Co-sponsors. Let me see.
All right, let's go. You've been awfully quiet, Ace.
Oh, dude, I'm chilling. I'm messing around with everybody in chat.
Oh, man. Yeah, we'll run this for another like 10, 20 minutes.
No. They didn't send it. Well, they don't get a promotion for me then. They didn't send that nor the check.
Motherfuckers.
Yep, motherfuckers.
And I wonder if it's actually complicated dealing with sponsors and shit from clothing or Gucci or any of those kind of things.
Yeah, because you have to say and do what they say, and
yeah, you become a
watch your time. So like take Dr. Disrespect for instance. He's doing these Call of Duty streams. Obviously, I play a lot of Call of Duty. I've been like tweeting about that more than crypto lately, but that's just the markets talking. But anyway, he absolutely hates this new Call of Duty, but he's sponsored by them, and he has to keep fucking doing these shows that are sponsored by them and talk about them.
And he's
today he was doing it, and he was like talking through his teeth today about like he was complimenting the game while telling them what's wrong with it as they're paying him. But I feel like that would be your scenario with like any kind of sponsor. Like at some point they're gonna piss you off, right?
Mm-hmm. Dude, Dr. Disrespect is one of the best characters in the space. Do you remember when his house got shot at or some shit?
Yeah.
Freaked out.
I would too. I mean, he's got his daughter there, his wife. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's
crazy. I don't remember what happened to that if they caught the guy because he did it twice.
Twice.
Wow. Yeah. The second time was when he was on air with it, and he had that freak out. Yeah, that was the second time.
On Periscope, I'm Ian Commando. Do you really think this is from maybe 10 minutes ago? Do you really think businesses will use Bitcoin? And then he types XRP. So I'm assuming y'all know nothing about XRP. I don't know, man. What are your thoughts on it?
I would say that if you took 10,000 businesses right now, or any group amount of businesses, and said, "Would you use Bitcoin or XRP?" they would say no to either one. So the question to that is no on either one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just facts of life right now. They would prefer cash. And unfortunately, as much debit fees as they're paying, they're not willing, and I've witnessed this firsthand, they're not willing to transition to Bitcoin unless they're like really open-minded business owners, like and just like willing to risk it.
Overstock.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dude,
you got to remember too, a lot of the businesses that accept cryptocurrencies, like XRP, man, you know, they're market selling that shit right away, right?
Yeah.
That's going right to USD or whatever the hell currency they need. And that's just how it works. What do you think the one company does? What's it called? That processes Bitcoin to USD for all the companies. BitPay. There we go. Yeah. What do you think BitPay does? They just market sell that Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. I think users can like choose, but typically.
And on top of that, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, that's my point's done.
I was about to rail on XRP.
Go for it, bro.
On top of that, you got to have real like people going into businesses with XRP, and so far all I've seen is just bots online. So yeah, you got to have the user base too.
It's a bad look, the whole bot thing.
I know there's real XRP users, but there's more Bitcoin users than there is XRP, actual real life heart beating people.
Yeah, I mean, I've never sold XRP for cash, that's for sure. You know what I mean?
Yep. If you Google right now, where can I sell Bitcoin for cash, ATMs, or where can I sell Ripple for cash, ATMs near me, doesn't matter where you're at. Odds are you actually might find one of our Coin Bros ATMs, depending on where you are in the country. But that being said, you're not going to see XRP on it. And you know what? We might actually sell XRP on there. I might be speaking out my ass. Let me look real quick.
That Coin Bros, huh?
Let me look. Yeah, thecoinbros.com.
Pop that up. I'm
curious. My partner Corey runs this. Yeah, here let me share. Yeah, here's the link.
Same dude asked, "What about MoneyGram, guys?" Okay. I honestly don't know what MoneyGram's involvement is with XRP.
Well, it's a good thing to check out the stock for that one. Let me check that.
Oh yeah, go for it, bro. Feel free to pull it up too. The Coin Bros are Bitcoin ATM locate. This is your company, right?
So Corey runs this, and you're going to see Nick Core ATMs everywhere, though. My partner Corey, we've done a few streams together and shit on there. You know, I need to go back to one of the videos, but I know we have like Bcash on there. I know for a fact, and Ethereum, but everything's transacted in Bitcoin. I'm telling you, like nobody has any wants to buy and sell, and it's majority buying on there.
Very sick.
Anything but Bitcoin, but they have the opportunity to.
Well, what's the ROI on the machine?
Hey, look, there's Jake. What's up, Jake?
What's up, Jake?
That I should probably not.
Okay, fair enough. But there is ROI, so things are good.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Let's just say location's everything, and a good location should pay you in like 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, you have to have a good. There's a lot to Bitcoin ATM business. I found out. That guy, Corey works his ass off day and night, keeping these things running and filled. And, you know, you have to deal with buying Bitcoin, selling it, you know, all of that, the cash. And so like the spread will definitely matter on your spread of buying and selling the Bitcoin too. So you have to have all that squared away.
What would you say is the average percentage charged towards a customer? Ballpark.
10%.
Really? Oh, nice.
That's going to be standard, like across all ATMs.
Where I'm from, at least 2 years ago, maybe it was like 5 to 7, but I guess that depends on location, on the time in the market, all that kind of stuff. It's definitely gone up since.
Well, so like your 5 to 7, like where are you pulling the actual price from though? Like, so they have their price.
You're right. Yeah. Fucking Quadriga or some shit where it's like marked up 3%.
You can really you can make your ATM appear like it's like Coinbase during a bull market is always several percentage points ahead of everybody. So you could just like port the Coinbase price there and be like, look, same price, you know, like it's 0%. We're not giving any markup when in reality you're buying on Bitstamp, you know, at 15% under or something.
Sneaky shit, huh?
Yeah, I can see a lot of ATM companies doing that shit. So
why don't you guys do that?
I mean, because that's untruthful and it gets enough business without it. Like literally cannot place enough of these. If anybody knows any businesses that would want to host these, we pay the hosts in LA area or really California period, or Florida right now. Anybody watching, let me know. We'll pay the host and also finder's fee. And if there's enough traffic, transaction fees off of it monthly too. So we can't place enough of these. People want to buy a lot of Bitcoin, and yeah, it's because we're at the bottom of it.
Yeah, all the fucking drug dealers need a way to get it out.
There is heavy KYC on ours. By the way.
Really?
Anything I think it's anything over 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to run your ID, and best believe if you're up to anything, the KYC system, it knows about it.
Really?
It's actually stopped. I don't know how much I could.
It stopped certain
a person. It
Mhm.
stopped a person that was heavily connected with organized crime elsewhere in the world, not in the United States.
Wow.
But not wanted, but heavily connected with laundering money for an organized crime. And it was able to identify that. Like the KYC on these systems now, I'm sure the exchanges are going to be rolling to them because like that one alone was pretty nuts. But and then it automatically flags it and like sends it to Interpol or whatever. That person tried to buy, this amount of Bitcoin. And it doesn't do that for everybody, but if you're a criminal,
special boy.
Yeah, it knows.
Fuck. I guess that begs the next question in terms of exchanges and stuff. Will we see a day where there is no longer an exchange without KYC?
Yeah, there'll always be illegal exchanges and exchanges in, and it also goes down to like illegal where, so BitMEX is illegal in the U.S., right? But not necessarily illegal in other countries.
Mm-hmm.
So,
do you think that blanket would change where,
I don't think globalization. I don't think globalization's anywhere near to where we're gonna have a blanket across the world.
Great.
Where like it would be just a straight, one law. The SEC has law over all the land. I don't think we're that close.
All right, good. I got another good 10 years in me before.
Yeah, I think countries will keep their sovereignty for now.
Great.
So.
Ian's still going on about XRP is cheaper, faster. Yeah, don't worry, bro. Like you're not convincing us of anything, man.
That's great, bro. Look,
dude, I'm happy.
Look, man. I respect that. You can have your XRP. That's fine. I'm not so attached to Bitcoin that I'm gonna say it's going to do everything that the XRP guys are saying. Because why? Because I'm realistic. But besides that, like you can have your XRP. I can have my BTC. They could have Doge. Someone could have whatever. It doesn't matter. Bcash. We could all have our own coins. That's what these XRPers need to understand. They're like so worried about Bitcoiners. Who cares?
Yeah, we can all coexist peacefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, he says, I'm done trolling you. For real, do some research. You guys sounding great. Bro, get the fuck out of here. Go, Ian. Leave. Okay, bro, I get it. XRP is dominant. There you go. You had Nick say it. XRP is dominant. Better than Bitcoin. There you go. Clip that. Now leave.
And then just put it on repeat over and over again.
There you go. Nick said it. Nick, to tweet it out, tag me on the tweet. I'll retweet that. Not really, but.
Yeah, Cryptula in Melbourne, Bitcoin ATM phone number was enough. Yeah, like I remember, I think I used an ATM once and they didn't ask for shit.
Yeah, so a majority of the ATMs, you can just do a phone number for like anything under 1,000, or some companies are like 500 or whatever, and then you got to start doing the ID stuff after that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So is it like per wallet? Like you can only use that wallet once for under 1,000, or can a dude go back in every day, 1,000 a day, or
No, you could every day. You could, but if like you were doing something, if you were just a normal person and that's how you prefer to buy, then that's fine. That's perfectly legal. But if you were doing something illegal and trying that, I would definitely say that at some point you're going to get flagged for that type of but if you're not doing anything illegal, what does it matter? You're fine. You're just buying in small quantities as an avid investor. So
beautiful.
I think the ATM space is really doing its due diligence right now, and exchanges are not, as far as legitimacy. Yes, there has to be like a limit on the amount of controls, like some of these governments are saying, where we can and can't trade. But yeah.
Beautiful. Ace, is there anything you want to add to that?
I haven't really done too much of the ATM stuff, so I don't really know that Cena thing. So I don't really know how that would work out. I haven't really seen one around our area, at least.
On the moon?
So go to so we won't have any there, but go to ATM Radar and just search your area there. Like it seems like just about every part of the country, there's some company there with a Bitcoin ATM.
Yeah, it grew really quickly.
Yeah. Even the last bowl, like Athena had most of the country covered.
Really, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, they must have killed it. But yeah, so all things said and done, if you guys are interested by anything Nick has, Hit him up on Twitter, CryptoCore. Dude, it was fucking fun having you on, man.
Oh yeah, guys.
Seriously.
Thanks.
And on Friday, he has a COD tournament. It's pinned to his Twitter, so if you guys are into Call of Duty.
Actually, so no, that tweet is pinned to Nye's Twitter.
Oh, nice.
But I did retweet it. It's probably like 4 tweets down on mine.
Okay.
If you sign up there. But yeah, and the actual tournament starts the 13th. So this next Friday, not this Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But get everything signed up, and then the prizes are going to be announced probably Monday.
So people can make some money. That's great.
Yep. And yeah, it's going to be fun. Yeah. And streamed.
Very cool, man.
You guys play?
I used to, but it was like Black Ops 2 or some shit. Like
yeah.
I haven't tried the new one yet.
Is it good? Do you like it?
Modern Warfare? Fuck yes. That's all I do now. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun, man, for sure. It's definitely different than the other ones. But yeah, I feel like my life has just been consumed by charts and Call of Duty like the last month.
Mm-hmm. And algorithms.
Yeah, charts. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, to everyone at home, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to do a couple more live streams this week. Yeah, thank you for coming on. Ace, I love you. Nick as well. And have a good night, folks.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
And we're done. All right, let me turn off this recording.
Someone said we had one in Austin at a smoke shop.